2, 1.
Well, we already started.
We started.
Yeah, we were talking about vampires in Staten Island.
2-Pack Taper Podcast. New guest for the week. We don't do this on the weekly basis, but
Yeah, we
Brittany,
already know.
Brittany Hayes?
Brittany Hayes. Yeah.
What's Ryan's last name?
Ferris.
So you didn't take his name?
No, I didn't.
Mac did that too.
You didn't want to do Brittany
briefly-
Ferris?
No, we briefly thought about it, and then I told him that, and we agreed to this, that if we were going to do something with last names, we'd hyphenate. And then we looked at what you have to go through just to change your last name and decided it's not for us.
I kind of like the hyphenate look. Sometimes it looks very official.
Yeah.
But I don't blame you.
Yeah, I mean, after we got married, honestly, not a whole lot changed. So
Yeah.
I think I have a deeper appreciation for him. But
I feel like after getting married, you learn that like a name is just a name because you can just decide to be called whatever you want and people start calling you it.
Really, yeah.
Yeah, because like you could say like I'm Brittany Ferris and not legally change it. Everyone's going to think you're Brittany
People
Ferris.
do call me Brittany, like his family does, and I don't really care, but yeah.
Brittany Ferris.
Yeah.
Mac didn't change her name when she got married either. Legally.
Yeah.
But you changed it on a lot of stuff.
On social media, I changed
Right.
it.
Yeah.
But I was like, nah, I ain't going to do that.
Yeah. And we're not having children either, so it didn't really make sense for us to do something like that.
Yeah, that makes sense, right? Because like most people are like, oh, we want to have the same last names, that our kids have the same last name.
Which I can appreciate, and I appreciate that people like doing that, but it's not something that we did.
Because one of our friends is going through... Wait, she already got divorced, right, Erin? Mm-hmm. And she had to...
2 years ago, yeah.
Do all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
She finally is now changing
Took
it.
forever to...
Changing her last name back?
Yeah, back.
See, that, I don't think...
It's a nightmare.
Yeah, I mean, Ryan and I have talked about it. Like, we don't think we would ever get divorced. I mean,
Yeah.
You guys seem like a really good couple.
Yeah, no, I'm his biggest fan. But, yeah, that seems way too much to have to stress out about changing your last name.
Letting the government get involved.
Letting the government get involved? Yeah, nobody wants that. So, yeah.
How long you guys been married?
1 year.
Oh.
Just over a year.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah.
Why did I think you guys have you been together for like 10?
7 years.
7, yeah.
I knew you were
Yeah.
together for a while at least.
I met him in toward the end of 2016, and we got married last year. But, yeah.
Was it a big wedding?
About 100 people.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty
good.
big, right?
Yeah.
That's pretty big.
We did a no-child wedding, like an adult-only wedding.
That's the best.
Which is really nice, but I think a few people just didn't go because they couldn't bring their kids.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fair. If they
That's
can't get a
fair.
babysitter, then
That's what
don't
I
come.
thought.
Who cares? That's on them.
Yeah. I mean, I don't like kids, so honestly, that was ideal for me.
Did one of you get fixed?
They're
Spayed or
not
neutered?
animals. They don't get
God.
fixed.
Oh. Yeah, Ryan actually is soon.
Is he?
Yeah, that is
he's doing it
the
soon?
ultimate plan. Yeah,
Ah.
yeah. But
What's that procedure called for men?
vasectomy.
Vasectomy.
Yeah.
I should know, right?
Pretty jazzed. Yeah, when we got together in 2016, pretty early in our relationship, I was like, hey, just so you know, I don't want to have children. And I've never wanted to have children. He was like, that's fine. So
He was like chill about it.
yeah.
God, he was so young too.
He was.
Yeah.
Well-
he was actually younger than I thought he was. I thought he's
You
younger
did.
than me.
Yeah, you thought he was older than you, didn't he? Or at least 1 year older.
Well, when I met him, I was 23, and I thought he was 22, and we were talking about Thanksgiving or the holidays, and I said, oh, did you go out for Thanksgiving last year since it was been your first year? And he goes, no, I wasn't old enough. And I said, what did you say? And he was like, yeah, I'm only 21. And at that point, I was already like in love with him. So
You're like, crap.
yeah.
Yeah, I thought
Oh my
Paul
God.
was a little younger when I met him. So this is
Did
awkward.
you? I guess I didn't tell you. Probably for a while.
How old you are?
Yeah.
Not that you're old, but
34.
you're not young.
You're
I love that. I love that. You know, I know what's crazy is that, and I feel like I've been I don't know if this is actually true because I've only seen it on the internet, but I heard that like if you are a woman and you're married and you try to go in to get your tubes tied, they either strongly suggest you don't, or I've heard of instances where they actually want your husband's permission.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A friend of mine actually, she has 2 kids already with her husband, so her husband did get a vasectomy. And when they went in, they wanted his wife's approval for it.
Oh, really? That's kind of a
very
nice
interesting.
change. Yeah.
It was nice, but they thought it was really interesting. He was like, yeah, no, we already have 2 children. We have a boy
We're
and a girl.
good.
So
It's like, what does the hospital have to gain? Like, if you having more baby, I don't get it. Like, why do they?
it's probably something to do with capitalism, you know?
Probably.
Need
Yeah.
people
Religion.
to buy things and,
Yeah.
yeah.
Jeez.
I've
the
heard of
economy
men who
going.
go in and chicken out and then they end up
And do what?
Like they go in for a vasectomy and then they chicken
Oh, my
out, and so they don't do it and they don't tell their wife, and then the wife ends up pregnant.
Dear Lord.
Does it scare you at all to like think, what if he goes in and gets it done, but then it's still like, because I've heard of like those random times where
they're not 100% effective.
Yeah.
It does scare me
Right.
quite a bit. But
Right.
tell him to go in a lot of saunas and hot tubs.
What?
That kills sperm, I guess,
Hot tubs?
and saunas.
Really? Actually, I have heard that some men will put ice packs on their junk when they go in a sauna.
What?
Yeah, that's a thing.
Who told you that?
Have you
Like
seen
your
this?
sources.
Huberman podcast.
I hear men's like steam rooms and saunas are just disgusting.
I wouldn't go in a steam room. I mean, they're usually naked or like in robes.
Well, I've heard that men are known to like
Masturbate?
take a
Masturbate?
I mean, that's not what I was going to say, but
Oh.
that
Pee
too.
pees? You wanna
yeah,
say
well,
pees.
they'll just pee in the corner.
Oh.
That's what I've heard.
I don't
Men
know.
are so
Where do you
gross.
go to it? Like, where's a steam room? Where is
Like
that?
we used to go to a gym downtown, and apparently that was happening in there.
MVP?
Is a steam room the
No,
same
it's
as
YMCA.
is a steam room the same as like a sauna, or was
No.
what's
Yeah.
the difference? It's just steamy.
Steamy.
Isn't
Like, when
ours
you go
very
in,
steamy?
it's like...
It's very
Looks
moist.
like a liquid, or like, what do you call those? Fog machines. Like
Liquid machine.
that. Yeah,
Liquid machine. I've been there. Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
It's pretty gross.
Ew.
Yeah.
But Brittany is from Battle Creek, Michigan.
I am.
Cereal City, USA.
Cereal
right?
City. Yeah.
I've been there, and you can smell...
You can.
Is Lucky Charms Kellogg? I don't know what
Fruit
Kellogg.
Loops.
I
Fruit
feel,
Loops?
yeah, sometimes in the morning it would smell like Frosted Flakes.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It really would.
I
You'd
would
come
love
out,
that.
and you could smell like the sweetness. And I've known a few people who've worked at Kellogg too. So
Yeah.
yeah, good old Cereal City. They used to do the longest breakfast table too.
What is that?
Downtown. It was
Like
just-
everybody has to eat there.
No, it was just an event where they would set up just long tables downtown, and you'd get like a mini box of cereal, and you just
fun.
have breakfast with everyone.
Have you ever been there, Mac? Battle Creek? Yeah, no?
Is there a casino there?
Yeah.
There's firekeepers, but that's like way outside.
Way.
No, then
yeah.
I've never been there.
There's,
Okay.
Yeah, Battle Creek's gone through a lot. There's not.
That beautiful water park downtown, full blast.
Oh my gosh, I used to practice there.
There's a water park.
Practice what?
lacrosse.
Oh my
parking.
god.
Yeah, that was our. It's a gym too, so that was our conditioning.
They did have a nice gym, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mac's
Yeah, they
messing
have
with the mic.
some nice
Yummy.
gyms there.
Yeah.
But
Inside.
yeah, Battle Creek has lost a lot.
Interesting.
Yeah.
The mall there is basically just
Oh,
completely
yeah.
empty. They
Battle
have like
Creek
an
Mall?
Applebee's, a B-Dubs, and now like a Horrocks in the
I
mall.
went to like a
Horrocks.
Yeah,
I
they
know
have
what
a
that
Horrocks.
place is.
Yeah.
That's like a nice place. Though.
It is
grocery
really
store.
nice.
Is that the one where you can drink wine and go shop? Okay, that's right.
I went to a J.C. Penney at that mall
Oh my gosh, JC
not that long ago.
Why are you like weirdly? You have a lot of connections to J.C. Penney's.
Well, I used to work there.
So like I think
So
he
I-
has loyalty there.
Well, no,
He's trying
it's
to be
like
Penny.
I knew
Yeah.
I could get Levi's there because I worked there, and I know they carry Levi's, and I like Levi's. But
Yeah,
I
I have
went in
a
there.
question. You said not too long ago. I've been
Probably-
dating you for like a year, and you
Yeah,
not
probably
been to
like
JC.
3 years ago.
That's a long time ago.
But 3 years ago at a mall, even malls were
yeah, but when you say not that long ago, I'm thinking like a couple months.
no, but
not 3 years.
But I went in, and it was like going into 2004.
Yeah.
It was scary. There was a guy. I walked in. There was a guy working at the eyewear counter, and he just looked dead. Like he looked dead.
He probably was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he had been there
inside.
for a year. He hadn't moved. And I just walked out. I was like, there's nobody here. This is
No.
creepy.
I don't even think JCPenney is in that mall anymore.
It might not be.
Yeah.
Is it like a big mall? I don't
Yeah.
know anything about
Yeah,
this
it used
mall.
to be
Lakeview,
big.
right?
I mean, it was the place to be when
Not
I was,
Lakeview.
I
What's
don't
it
know,
called?
like 14. You'd have your mom drop you off,
Heck
and you'd go
yeah.
to PacSun, and
Is
you'd
it
go
like-
to Hot Topic. And
Yeah.
Is it equivalent to the one that's in like Detroit? Isn't there one?
No,
near-
same
Oh,
as like
that one's-
Kazoo, kind of, but smaller.
I would say
Okay.
it's smaller than
Yeah,
Kazoo,
yeah,
because
yeah.
if we really wanted to go shopping,
You had
Go
to
to
go to
Kazoo.
trip to
Kalamazoo.
Kazoo. Yeah.
Yeah.
I still have the keys to the Kalamazoo Cold Stone.
Oh my gosh, did you work there?
I did. I was a shift manager or shift lead.
For those
Whoa.
listening, it's an ice cream parlor.
Everyone knows
Yeah.
what Cold Stone is.
What if they're no Cold Stone's not across the country? Is it?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, I didn't know. that.
Right?
No, I don't think so. I'd never heard of it growing up in California.
But that was back in Nam. It wasn't even like
Back
around.
in
I don't think
Nam.
it was around back
It was in
then.
the 70s.
I don't think it was in the 80s, and I don't think it was around then.
I was born in 89. What do you mean it was in the 80s?
That's in the
Wow.
80s.
he's like, God, this guy's fucking old.
I know. My mom today body bagged him.
What?
She was like, I called her and we're talking, and it's like, my little brother needs a girlfriend. He really does. But
Yeah, he does.
she was like, I know, I'm kind of losing hope. And she's like, so you're like my last chance at grandkids. And I'm kind of losing
No
hope for you
pressure.
too, because you're dating a 35-year-old.
Sperm is good for a long time, is it not?
I said
I
the
don't
same
know.
thing. I was like, oh, well, like that's more of a woman thing and I'm
Yeah.
younger. And she said, yeah, but he's going to be an old dad.
Yeah, your sperm might just turn to dust.
I think you can. I think
And he goes in a lot of hot tubs.
a lot of hot
You've
tubs.
been in
You
a
gotta start
like a
bringing
lot-
ice packs.
Yeah, I know.
You did. You sat in a hot tub a lot.
Freeze my junk before I get in it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but when I lived at.
But you
the
used to
other
what?
house,
What did you do to prevent sperm?
Nothing.
Oh,
Bad.
But I think men will freeze it, right?
you have old sperm in there.
Yeah.
Ew.
Ew.
That's gross.
Men will freeze their sperm, and then when they turn
Yeah.
50, they'll put that sperm in a woman, the 35-year-old sperm, and then that kid comes out all nice. Yeah.
Ew.
This is a disturbing thought.
Yeah, but can you imagine, like, you're like, this is my dad, and he's like in a wheelchair, and you're like 20 years old, you know?
Yeah.
And he's like on a breathing tube.
I'd like to
and-
think I'm going to be like a really fit 60-year-old dad.
Maybe.
You know what I mean?
Speaking of your
If I'm
brother,
a dad.
though,
Yeah.
So you posted a screenshot earlier with a text conversation with your brother.
Yeah, he thinks
I need
Christmas
to
is a
know.
war.
How many unread texts do you have right
Oh,
now?
yeah. Everyone asks her this.
I think 170.
Where's your
something.
phone? Do you have it on you?
No, I put it upstairs.
How does it get there?
Actually, that's a low number.
It is low right
She
now.
went through it like a week ago.
My DMs are kind of the same way. It really
oh
sucks.
my gosh. Okay, what about your emails? What are your emails like?
I don't open them until I'm ready to respond to
Okay,
them.
that's fair.
But then as soon as I like don't need them, they get shifted into like their folders. Like I have a
Okay.
folder for everything.
so
she'll-
it's just the texts that pile up.
Yeah, but it's because I'm like I should respond to this, but I don't have the time, so I won't open it and read it.
Fair.
And then I'll just like keep it there and I'll do the little swipe down so you can see what it says because
Yeah.
I know I need to respond to people.
You just can't
But I'm
yet.
really bad at it.
Oh,
She'll
you're-
have some
you're
from
behind.
like.
I know. I'm
She'll
really
have
behind
some from like February.
Oh my gosh.
of last year. Yeah.
It's November.
I know it's really bad. But then like, and the funny thing too is like, I'll need to text someone and I'll realize they're one of the unread messages, and I'll be like, shoot.
They texted you something really emotional and you just never
in
responded.
like February of last year. I'm like, oh, dude, hope you're doing good. Like, by the way,
Like, you're the only friend I have. I appreciate you.
Yeah,
and you
like-
just left them on the
yeah,
list.
literally.
In your defense, I have seen a lot of them. They're group messages that you just don't even want to respond to.
That's also true.
That
Yeah.
happens, yeah.
Those group chats that go too
Big fan
far.
of group chats, and I also mute people. Like if there's certain people who like we've either had like a falling out or like I'm really bad having falling out with friends. I don't like it. I get really anxious and like I like in my head I have to almost mentally pretend they died.
Wow.
I know that's
Do you
really-
grieve them?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
And like it's almost like I mute them on all social media. I mute
Yeah.
their like text messages so I don't see them pop up if I get notifications just
Yeah.
because I have to pretend that they died because it makes me so anxious that like they don't like me anymore.
Yeah.
Which is so sad, but like so some of those people are like muted people where like I never got the notification and it's just like sitting there, but
I
they're
feel
in my
like-
head dead.
That's kind of like my baseline for most people. I just assume that they don't like me at all
Really?
times, but
Why?
I don't know.
You're a very likable person.
Oh God, thank you. I've definitely have been like, does Mac not like me?
Really?
I've had
Really?
so, but I'm a little bit better now. Like I'm a little less anxious than I used to be. You
Yeah.
know, like shout out Lexapro, but
Oh, seriously, I take
But-
that. It's amazing.
yeah, still some days I'm like, I don't know if this person likes me.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know.
No, you're very likable. I was talking to
good.
Tess today, which is one of our friends for people who don't know
Yeah.
her or them. But and they were like, "Oh, who's your next guest on the podcast?" And
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, it's Brittany." And they were like, "Oh, they were like Brittany was so cool to talk to when we went to
my
dinner."
gosh, yeah, I really
What
like
dinner was
Tess.
this?
Mitten,
Oh,
you were
Yeah.
there. I was there. Brittany was there.
Forgot about that.
Yeah.
Ryan was not there. Oh yeah, and then so Ryan is the name of Brittany's husband.
Oh, that's
right,
my
right,
husband's
right.
name.
And Tess was like, "Yeah, oh, I wonder where Ryan is all the time because he seems so cool and I want to meet him."
He does not like running in the cold, so
Yeah.
he probably won't be at many running events because he prefers the treadmill or the cold. Which is
Honestly,
crazy, but
That is crazy.
yeah, I mean, I don't blame him.
Come on, Ryan.
I've been running for a while now, so I feel like I'm just mentally prepared every year to be cold for like 4 months.
Yep.
It's
Straight.
also less stressful, I feel like, when you run in the cold because, like,
Yeah.
you're just playing in the snow,
Yeah.
It's funny.
basically.
The last running event we went to, Ryan goes, "Do I need to get tights?" all
saw
of the men were wearing tights, and I was like, you can
No.
wear whatever
So
you
you'd
feel
be like,
comfortable
no.
in.
I'm still not used to men in tights.
You're not?
Like this is a
Yeah,
phenomenon.
it's
Like
very Peter Pan, right?
yeah, and I look at their butts when I run, and their butts look so feminine, and I'll be like running behind
Little
these really
boy butts are so
Yes,
cute.
They're adorable.
Boy butts, they're always like little bubbly.
I
They got little
know.
bubble butts.
Yeah. And there's this guy named. Do you know who John is? There's this guy named John.
Maybe.
Okay, well he's like 6'3".
John Martz?
Yeah, he's like 6'3", and he's like pretty built. Like I wouldn't say he looks like your stereotypical runner. Like he's pretty built. Like looks like maybe a football player. He played baseball in college.
Yeah.
And we'll run. Like I'll run with him, and he's fast, so he's always in front of me. And he'll wear like little tights, and I'm like, oh my gosh, his little butt.
His little
like,
tiny butt.
Yeah, and I'm like, it's
so
just a
funny.
little. It's just for me. It's like it brings me back to he's like 5 years old, and I'm like, the little boy butt.
Look at his little butt. Yeah.
Matt calls them little man pants.
Little man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
little
They
man
are little
pants.
man pants.
Yeah,
You're a big fan of the little man pants, aren't
yeah.
you?
He wears little man shorts.
Oh, wow.
like
Ryan
tight
loves,
shorts.
Ryan loves the little shorts, though.
Yeah.
The
I
little
love some man thigh, though. Oh.
The little tight shorts, though.
They're not that tight. They're just really high up.
High
They're
up,
very
yeah.
short
the
shorts.
hoochie daddy shorts.
Hoochie daddy shorts. I love
some
You got a
short
fruit
shorts.
fly on
though.
a wine glass. Get it? No, well, she,
annoying.
yeah, because I'll wear like tights, but are short tights,
Interesting.
and she'll just make fun of them.
Do you ever
Little
feel any
pants.
discomfort in your like genital region?
I think
Your
they're. I think
penis.
they're better. Than,
Do you just? It doesn't like.
You can see the
Flop?
outline of that thing. It's
Oh, man.
tight. He wears so tight of shorts.
Wow.
Yeah,
I
they're
mean,
comfortable.
That thing's not
That'll
flapping in the
definitely
wind.
They
prevent
don't
your
move.
sperm from flowing properly.
Right.
Exactly. There's another reason why you have dusty sperm.
Dusty sperm.
I'll get it checked for dust.
Do you have to do that? Is like at what age? Like, do you have
Do
to
you
test
check
your sperm?
Unless you're
Is
having
my
kids.
sperm too old?
Unless you're trying to conceive and you can't, right?
Yeah, I guess.
So you don't
Yeah.
like if it's not broke, don't fix it kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Squirting blanks, don't care.
So we should get to know our guest more, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's deflecting. I feel like.
I am. It's
Are
a.
you?
It's a
Well,
habit.
so you grew up in Battle Creek.
I did.
Like all the way through high school.
Yes.
Nuclear family, like siblings, mom and dad, biological.
Yeah, I have two half sisters.
Okay.
One is my dad's daughter from a previous relationship,
Mm.
and then my other sister is my mom's daughter from a previous relationship. So,
Mm.
two half sisters, and they are both 38, so they're older than me.
Oh, okay.
I'm 30. So the sister I'm closest with took on a very like maternal role just because I was around her most of the time. In the summer, she would do like school for me. So my friend and I, who she would babysit, she would have us do math equations and we'd have art class and stuff like that. So
And you
She-
like that?
yeah, I think so. I mean, I'm in school. I went back to school now because I like school. So
Oh wow. Oh,
Yeah.
Gives me PTSD.
Seriously.
I don't know. I think it's school's one of the things that I did really well at in life. So I find a lot of comfort there because
Oh
yeah.
my god. Gives me anxiety.
Are you like, I mean, I think you're street smart, but like, would you say you're like book smart also in the sense of like memorization? Like, did it just come naturally easy to you? Did you have to work pretty hard at it?
I hate answering this question because it makes me feel like I don't know.
It doesn't mean
Bragging
no,
or
it doesn't
sounding
make you arrogant.
hoity-toity
There's
or
just certain
anything.
people who like
Yeah.
stuff
I'll
like that comes
say
very easy to them.
I didn't study really ever. I
Okay.
still don't really study.
Oh wow.
That makes
Yeah.
sense.
You just get the concepts.
For the most part. Yeah.
So what was growing up in Battle Creek like? Like you did your.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, I remember we were at a friend's Thanksgiving
Yeah.
a week ago.
Yeah.
When was that? Last week?
I think it was last weekend.
And we were getting into some deep questions, and you slipped in that your parents were abusive.
Oh gosh.
Is that correct?
It is correct.
Whoa, let me ask you this: are you okay with talking about that?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
okay talking about it because I think that, you know, I do bring it up sometimes often because I think in ways I'm searching for other people who may have experienced something similar.
Okay, fair.
Because, yeah, the older I get, the more I realize that my childhood wasn't quote unquote normal.
Sure.
Did you think it was normal when you were in it?
I think so.
I feel like all kids probably do.
I think so. And I mean, I was very social growing up. I'm still really close with the friends I grew up with. We usually do a girls' weekend every year, and I was in sports, and I got all A's. So from the outside, it all looked pretty normal.
Yeah.
But
When you say abused, physical, mental,
I would
spiritual.
say it was mental. It wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't physical abuse,
Yeah.
but Yeah, my dad has a lot of mental health issues, and he was very physically abusive to my mom. So, that was something I had to grow up a lot around, like witnessing it happen right in front of me, like in cars sometimes. And so especially right now around the holidays, it gets really tough for me because holidays were really stressful. It was the time when, my mom she's such a loving person, and what I'm thankful for her for is that she was always very loving. She always like hugged me and always, I don't know, comforted me, but she also chose and still chooses to stay with her abuser.
So they're still together.
They are.
Wow.
And I haven't seen my dad since my wedding, so it's been over a year.
Oh, he went to the wedding?
Yeah.
Wow.
And so for so long, my whole life, it's kind of just been like something bad happens and then you just pretend it didn't.
Yikes.
And then after my wedding, it just took a deep spiral for him, and it just got really bad. And he's been in several mental health institutions and rehab, and it's just not getting better. So I'm at the point now where I'm like, I can't support your relationship together, so I can't be around you.
Has it been the same amount of time since you've seen your mom as well, or do you see her more often?
I saw her a few weeks ago, and for the most part, she's okay. But I mean, she's been abused for over 3 decades, so
that's insane.
So she struggles daily, pretty much.
Yeah.
But she has her moments where she's, the mom I love and love to talk to. But it makes me really sad sometimes because now, my husband met my parents 7 years ago, and he didn't get to know them when I was younger, and my mom, I don't know, was more okay, I suppose.
Right.
And he hasn't gotten to see like the side of her that she's so funny and she's so loving and stuff. He only has gotten to see the side of her that's like trying to control situations so bad things don't happen.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So it sucks because you feel like he doesn't have the same, I guess, not like look, but
yeah. I mean, he loves my parents still because they're my parents, and he has had nice moments with them. But I mean, it's hard because considering what's happened in the last year, which a lot has happened, it's just hard for him to know the good parts of them.
Did your dad suffer from like a substance addiction?
Yeah. So he is definitely an alcoholic, and he keeps trying to go to rehab, but then he immediately falls off the wagon. So it's been really tough, and I think it's really hard for him right now too because one, I won't talk to him, and I think that's really hard for him to wrap his head around the fact that he can't control the fact that I won't talk to him.
Yeah.
He likes to be in control of things. And
does he reach out to you and everything?
Constantly.
Wow.
He's constantly like calling me and texting me, and right now he can't because he's hospitalized, but when he's home, he does call me often, and then if I don't answer, he'll send me a string of texts saying, I can't believe you won't talk to me, and it just makes me feel really sad because it's really hard not to talk to him.
Oh, I'm sure, because he still raised you. He's still your dad.
It's still my dad, and he also has cancer right now. So he does have, with treatment,
I was going to ask if that was like...
Yeah, with treatment, he does have a year or two left, but he's not seeking treatment. So it is really hard that every time the phone rings, I'm expecting to hear like, "Oh, your dad died."
Man, I'm sorry to hear that.
So I mean, it's really interesting to talk about because I can talk about it from a pretty removed point of view,
right.
just because it's kind of been going on my whole life. But I realize
addiction. You mean?
Yeah, well, his addiction and the abuse, like I've been around it literally my entire life.
Yeah.
Even my closest friends didn't know that it was as bad as it was because when they were over, I was so focused on like, oh, let's stay in the basement. Let's stay in this room. Like, oh, no, don't talk to my dad. Like, let's not play pranks on them. It's not funny. And my friends were like, oh, we always thought you were just like a control freak or really anxious or like...
Which that kind of sucks for you because you kind of had to live in the shadow of that.
Yeah, and... I think I'm still pretty sensitive, but I'd have moments where I would cry pretty easily when I was younger, and my friends would just like assume it's just because I'm so sensitive. And thinking back, it's probably because of the trauma that I had.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It was really tough to like, I mean, I was constantly having to compartmentalize, but it got really tough sometimes. It was just really exhausting to have to, I would leave my parents and go to my friend's house, and I would be crying on the way over, and I'd cry in her driveway, and then I'd dry my eyes and walk inside and have like a girls' night.
Yeah, and I'm sure it probably felt like when you went to your girls' nights, did it almost feel like you were like, oh, I'm living this other life now, and then I have to go back to this reality that I have to keep under wraps?
Yeah, I mean, my whole life, my mom would say, you know, this isn't normal, right? And I'd be like, I know, Mom, but I mean, I was so focused on trying to comfort her and trying to take care of her.
When she said that, was she meaning like the situation?
Yeah.
Or was she meaning it as like a cover up of like, oh, he doesn't do this all the time, this isn't like a normal thing for him? Or was it like, you know, this isn't a normal childhood?
This isn't a normal childhood.
Okay.
Like the abuse, like he would be abusive and yell, and the thing he would do usually is he would take something she liked and break it.
Ooh.
So
That's fucked up.
Yeah, and if I only once or twice did I say something to him, and both times he got really mad and just left. So I'm not I wouldn't say I'm not confrontational, but I don't really lose my temper that easily, because the times I did, it just didn't work out well.
Sure.
So I think I control my temper pretty well, but yeah, I mean,
do you think it affected your trust for men, like growing up?
Weirdly, I don't think it did.
No?
Like you've not run into anything with Ryan where you're like, oh wait, like this might be because I had abuse in my past?
I think in my past relationships, because I definitely have been in unhealthy relationships, but growing up, my dad was gone so much that, I mean, I know it's my dad, but it wasn't like we were super close, and we didn't become closer until I was an adult. And so I don't know. Sometimes I go to therapy and I ask my therapist, like, when is it going to come out? Like, because I went through a lot of really terrible things. Like, how come it hasn't shown up yet in my life? Like, how come I don't do some sort of destructive thing because of all the trauma I go through, which I probably have, because in college I had an eating disorder and I had other, mental health issues.
Which that stems from a need for control. And coping.
And I mean, it was a result of so many things, but I think like something that kicked it off was just a really bad relationship or situationship I had with someone that just made me spiral, and I was pretty unhealthy for a lot of years. It took me a really long time. It was interesting because it was started around 2011, 2012, and that was the rise of like Fitstagram or whatever it was called.
That was like the start of Instagram, and everyone's like, oh my God, look at what these people look like.
The fitness influencers, and it would be like what I ate in a day, the workouts I did, and one of the things I have a lot of symptoms of OCD, and one of the ways that I guess materializes is that I obsessively like check things. Like, for example, recently I got a grade back from a class, or I was waiting for a grade to come back, and every time I opened my phone, I would check it. Like, my brain would not go off of that. But I would do that with like fitness influencers. Like, I would keep checking their pages for updates, because that's like what I would do when I would check my phone. It made me feel crazy. Like, it was my morning routine. I would wake up and I would check certain people to see if they posted anything new. But I basically modeled kind of like, I should eat this way, I should work out this way, off of their life.
Yeah.
And then, I'm not joking, every single one of them has come out with, I had an eating disorder back then.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
Which was insane. I was like, I was following you.
Yeah, like, you gave it to me. Like, you were my
told
influencer.
Me to do this. Yeah, so it's funny. I mean, I met you semi-recently, and I told you, like, when we kind of first met, that I'm not big on social media.
Yeah.
I used to be very big into social media.
I was about to ask you that, because I was like, you're never, like, is that why you don't have a presence anymore, really?
Not really. I mean, I would say in college I was pretty active on social media. Anybody who knows me from my past knows that I used to be very active. I used to write a blog. Like, I used to be just very involved in general. And then there just came a point, it wasn't the beginning of 2020, where it was just, there was so much going on, COVID and riots. And I just looked at my social media and I just thought, what kind of value am I adding to the world right now? And it was nothing. I was not adding any sort of value to the world, other than, I don't know, sometimes getting that hit of dopamine if somebody liked a post. Yeah. And also just seeing all of the conflicting posts, it was really stressing me out. And I was like, I need to just get off. And now I'm becoming more active again, but it has taken a few years.
You feel like you're in a healthier place then?
I think so, yeah. I think this is probably the best that I've done in my life, which is really great. Again, shout out Lexapro. But Yeah, I think I'm doing a lot better than I used to be, because I think there were times when I would say I was happy and I would tell myself I was happy to try and trick myself into thinking I was. But I think for the most part, I was pretty sad for like a lot of years.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
understandable.
and anxious and all that fun stuff.
And then
Well-
you haven't drank in 5 years,
5
right?
years,
5
yeah.
years.
Well, yeah, because at the housewarming party, I remember talking to you and Ryan for a while, but
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I was under the influence of marijuana related activities.
Paul thinks he's like, he does this thing where
I was
he's like, everybody's having fun and drinking and doing stuff, so I
kinda
need to do
toxic.
stuff. And
That's
then
so
he like
funny.
goes, and we like don't,
I
don't-
smoke twice a
yeah,
year.
we don't really keep drugs in the
Yeah.
house, I guess.
Drugs.
But our neighbors had given us, like randomly our neighbors moved out.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, nice to meet you. Would you like some pre-rolls or what? Is that what they are?
Yeah,
wow.
pre-rolls.
Yeah, like pre-rolls.
nice.
And they handed Paul, and Paul's like, sure. I'm like, Paul, why would we take that? And of course, during the party, he comes
You
up to
don't
me.
know what's in there?
Yeah.
No.
They have no idea.
I
And
think
then
it
he
was,
comes.
I think it was laced. I have no
It's
memory. of
oregano.
it.
Okay, Lace. But he comes up to me and he's like, I'm gonna do drugs. And I was like,
say
you
that.
did. You came and told me, like, you needed to let me know that you were gonna do it.
Oh,
Go do some
man.
drugs.
And then you're like, where's a lighter? And then we like did all secretive, and then like that's all he talked about the rest of the night was that he smoked.
It's kind of toxic because I don't drink either, and it's like, oh, I kind of want to be fucked up in some way because we're at
Yeah.
a party. It
To
really
match
is
the
toxic.
energy.
Yeah.
I think it's really funny because at that housewarming party, I don't drink and
Yeah.
I don't smoke or anything. But I think just from the environment of being around like a lot of people and having everybody drinking, all the different sort of, I guess, stimuli going on,
Yeah.
I felt like I was getting buzzed. And I
Same.
kept
Really?
checking the bottles and the cans I was drinking. I was like,
Yeah.
are these really non-alcoholic? Because I feel like kind of buzzed
I
right
know.
now.
It's weird.
the
Yeah.
placebo effect,
I
especially
know.
when you have like
Yeah.
a glass in your hand. And like honestly, like right now we're drinking, I think this is Chardonnay, non-alcoholic or alcohol removed Chardonnay.
Right.
And it tastes like there's a hint about like it has like a taste of like
Yeah.
almost
Like
like,
a
an
burn?
yeah, not a burn, but
Oh.
like a wine like aftertaste or something. And so it's like, and there was so
The
many
bitter
bottles,
taste,
yeah,
yeah.
so many bottles of non-alcoholic
Yeah.
on the counter. But then obviously there were other bottles that weren't. I
Yeah.
was same thing. I was like, I would smell Paul's drink and I was like, wait, let me make sure, like make sure it's not alcoholic.
But after, in my memory removed
On his
state,
oregano.
after I got laced, I was talking to you guys.
Smoke
and
that
you
oregano.
said, yeah. The devil's, what do they call it?
The devil's lettuce.
You had told me you stopped drinking, but I didn't really,
Yeah.
I can't remember like your story. Like what age did you start? Like why'd you stop?
Gosh, there's just so many reasons why I don't drink, but
Yeah.
I mean, the first time I drank was probably in high school.
Oh, early. Okay. Oh no, I guess that's not early.
I wouldn't, yeah.
In my head, I didn't even like think about drinking in high school. So
Yeah.
it's so weird.
It was probably just, it was socially just with friends and
Mm-hmm.
whatnot. And then I drank in college too.
Like
and
everyone does.
Yeah, but there were so many points in college where I would kind of experiment with not drinking. And I was once it was a terrible relationship, but I remember it was an on again, off again situation. He broke up with me at a point because he didn't like that I didn't drink,
Jeez.
What?
which is crazy.
Okay, this sounds bad. I'm gonna sidetrack real quick and I'll get back to you. But when I was on dating apps and girls would put they didn't drink, no.
Wow.
I
Really?
would
You were
swipe.
one of those guys?
Yeah, I was one of those guys. Because I was like, oh, she's not down to party.
That sounds
I would
really
swipe.
creepy.
You
Is
know what I
that so
mean.
You're trying to date rape girls?
No, not. But just like
Aw.
in my head, in my immature state at the time, I was like, how do we go on a date? Because I don't drink coffee. So in my head, I was like,
Yeah, well, that's fucked
You
up.
don't
You don't
drink
drink coffee.
coffee?
no, I've never had it.
He says he
What?
never had it.
Never
I'm
had
sure
it.
he has.
I've
never
never,
had
I've never
coffee.
went and actively purchased coffee. I swear.
Okay, actively purchasing and having it is different.
I might have had it when I was a kid. I don't know.
That's worse than having it as an adult. You've had it as a kid, though.
Like,
It's not like a gateway drug.
Jesus, a gateway drug.
no, just like
I've never purchased
don't
it on my
know.
own. I swear they just
Never
gave
done the
it to
caffeine
me.
before.
no, but you know how like you would, because I would sip my dad's beer when I was like 6.
No, I can't
Just
relate.
like I can remember tasting that. Maybe I did that with coffee too. Who knows? But
You bad kid.
I know.
I
But
feel like Paul went through the stage where he was like a really good, like he's like, I can't imagine drinking in high school. I never thought of it. And then he went to college. He was
No.
like, hell.
I know. It's so funny because there are some points where Paul comes off as like a huge goody two shoes.
Yeah,
where
right.
He's
Really?
like, I didn't know
Yeah.
that this person did that, and then he's like, oh yeah.
By the way,
I was smoking the marijuana before the
I
party.
know. No, I totally agree. Because sometimes you do. You act like not better than thou, but like sometimes I'm
it's
like,
a very Madawan thing for you to say.
Oh shit.
is
Privilege.
Madawan like
Privileged white kids.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
that adds up.
Yeah. But yeah, on the dating apps, I would not swipe. I don't know which way you
I
accept
think
them.
you
To the right.
Left. You
Left.
swipe them left if you don't
Is that
like
the
them.
bad way?
Left is no.
Yeah.
I would left them
See,
all day.
Hinge, you
Swipe
just hit
right
the X
for
with the
yes.
check.
They
I don't
needed. They
remember.
would have. Yeah, because I just didn't
It's
know
been
how
a long
to.
time.
I didn't know how to go on a date without a drink. That sounds
That's
bad.
sad.
So you just took dating apps to like a whole nother level. So
What
not
do you
only
mean?
were you judging them based off of what they look like,
Yeah.
you're like, you also don't want to have a fun time with
Correct.
me. You're out.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's even
Wow,
more
Paul.
like
they let me.
superficial.
Some of them let me in.
You
I mean,
are so
let you
shallow.
in. That's disgusting.
Okay, back to what you were saying about drinking in high school.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
he dumped you because
That was in college.
Okay.
Yeah, it was.
you weren't drinking.
Yeah, I was still in my eating disorder phase, so drinking alcohol was like a big
Added
no-no.
calories.
Too many calories.
Jeez.
Too many empty calories. And if I would drink alcohol, I'd have it and I'd pour it into a water bottle that was half full with water, and I'd dump a Crystal Light into it.
Dear Lord.
So I was only getting like the empty calories from the usually like vodka or something.
Yeah, I did that too. Went for the flavored water and vodka.
The good old Burnett's.
Sounds
Yeah.
nasty.
God.
And then I found out that like tequila was even more powerful.
Tequila, yeah.
What do you
There's-
mean, like less calories?
Well, we're not going to talk about calories,
Oh, okay.
how many calories each alcohol has, but it was more
Yeah.
powerful in
Okay.
my mind.
Yeah, there's some picture of me floating out there on the internet of me with a bunch of check marks on my arm, like in a
Whoa.
pen,
Yeah.
because I was drinking tequila and someone was like, "You have to keep tally marks on your arm
Because
of how many shots you've had."
Yeah, you do.
And
There's
so
like
there's a picture
limit.
of me holding my arm up with all these like pen marks on it, and I just look so drunk, and
Really?
I'm just like, oh my gosh. It was back when Facebook was like only like people our age was on it.
Yeah.
Parents
And there's
were on
like those
there.
low key photos where like there's
yeah.
a picture of a fifth and you're like 12 and it's like, why does
Yeah.
someone let you post that?
Yeah, you would take like 100 pictures and just upload them all
Yeah.
to Facebook. Like no filters, no editing.
Who let parents on Facebook?
I don't-
My niece would be devastated. if
My
she
thing
saw
is like,
those.
I went through and edited all mine.
Oh.
Like, all right, I got a new Facebook actually like
Yeah.
2 years ago.
Okay.
And the other one is like, people they still have access to it, but like I made all my albums private. But like I was thinking about that when I hardcore creep on men that I date. Like I go back to like their
Same.
childhood
It's
on
like,
Facebook.
why?
Anyway, I'm getting to that. And one of the
Gotta get the
pictures I
whole
saw,
background.
yeah, I gotta know. And one of the pictures I saw was Paul. You had your girlfriend at the time sitting on your lap, and she's literally got a fifth in her hand. And I'm like,
Yeah.
you're 19.
She was
Wow.
probably 19, yeah.
Yeah,
probably
and I'm
18.
like, no, this is like I would delete this.
I just, like,
imagine
don't-
your kid finding that
Yeah.
Yeah.
well, what are you gonna do?
dusty.
I
Sperm
just
kid.
like, yeah, I don't think about going back and deleting those. You know how like in the maybe 2011, 12, 13, like delete all your stuff. Your employers are gonna go through and look
For
through.
sure.
Do they do that anymore?
Yes.
Do they take
yeah,
the time?
I
do.
that was like part of my job in security was
Mm.
looking up
They do that.
sea level. One of the things I was tasked with, which was actually really fun for me because, and I was tasked with it because I knew I loved like
Yeah,
doing
creeping.
this. Yes, I'm a huge creeper.
Yeah.
Was they gave me a list of like important people in the company, like C-suite people, HR people, things like that. And they had me creep on their social media and find all the things I could find on them without being their friend on Facebook or like Instagram or Twitter or whatever.
Did you find some good stuff?
Yeah, and they would, and I had to write a report up, so I'd like screenshot it and write up like what this was, how I could figure out like either where they lived, like all these important details about them, things about their past life, and like they had to like report it, and it was like really weird.
That's crazy.
The worst you're gonna find with me is like probably like yours, just drunk
Yeah.
pictures.
Yeah, I mean, I was relatively like a good kid growing up, I
Yeah,
think.
same.
Yeah, I really didn't get into too much trouble. I never really liked drinking that much. And then, about 5 years ago, I think I had a few weekends in a row where usually when I would drink, you'd go out and you'd have fun, and then you'd come home and you'd eat a ton of junk, and then you'd go to bed. My nights were ending with the same stuff, but right before I went to bed, I would end up crying. And then the next day, hungover, I would usually cry too. So I was like, I think this is hurting me.
Were you still in Lexapro too?
No, I only got on Lexapro this year.
Oh, okay. I was gonna
Yeah.
say that is
Yeah.
not something to drink on.
Yeah, I wanted, I don't know, I think I reached a point this year where I was at like a running event, and I just felt so anxious. You ever hear like, I don't know, I mean, if you've experienced anxiety, you get that voice in your head that's just like, nobody likes you, you suck, like you're being weird right now, like you're just making this awkward, you're like everyone, it's all you, it's all your fault. And I was just so sick of hearing that in my head. And so yeah, I went to my doctor, and I don't really, it's funny because when I go to therapy, I never cry. But I'm in the doctor's office, and she goes, tell me what's going on. And I just started sobbing.
Really?
And I'm like, I always feel bad. Like, there's usually not a moment where I don't feel bad. Like, I think the only time I felt okay was when I was with my husband, Ryan, because, I mean, he's so comforting and so sweet, and I don't have to put on any sort of mask for him. But I think I just felt bad all the time. So now being on Lexapro, I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't have to feel bad all the time.
Is legit like helped you?
Oh, so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like night and day. It's crazy. I just,
Because I mean, the times we've hung out, I don't get like anxious, like reserved vibes from you, really.
Yeah, which I've heard people tell me that before, that they've told me that I feel very grounded or very down to earth or something along those lines, which is very interesting to me, especially before I was on Lexapro. I'm just like, oh, because I'm like so anxious right now.
So you quit cold turkey, like boom?
Drinking? Yeah, I mean, I wasn't drinking that much. It was just like a few
binging
going
weekends.
out weekends in a row. And the only reason I would drink would be to get drunk. It wouldn't,
Same.
you know, so I just didn't get a lot of enjoyment out of it. And I just thought, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
And so I didn't stop with the thought of like, I'm never drinking again. I just chose not to drink one weekend, and then I continued to do that. And then all of a sudden, 5 years later, I still haven't drank.
Yeah.
I'll try somebody's beer or like a drink, but
Like a taste test kind of thing. Because it's not like you're strictly like, I'm not drinking. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I have nothing against people who like to drink, because I think there's definitely like a time and a place to enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
I support it. It's just personally not for me. The same with like smoking or doing any sort of drugs. I mean, that's someone's personal choice. And if they like it and it makes them happy to do it, and they feel happy after they did it and don't feel any sort of regret, then keep on doing what you're doing. Yeah.
So we met, I don't even remember, when did you start running, I guess?
Well,
trying to think of when we met you.
When did I start running, like in general?
Yeah, because what run clubs, like where did you start with running in GR?
Well, I've been running since about 2012.
Really? Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're way into this.
A long time ago.
Way into this.
Yeah. And so I'm from Battle Creek, but I went to a small private college. I think I mentioned I played lacrosse.
Okay.
In college too? Okay.
Yeah, I played college lacrosse. So I played lacrosse for about a decade, including college.
Jeez, okay.
And around 2012, I just started running, because why not?
Yeah.
And I always envisioned myself being a runner. I'd always try, but it would fall off pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Like I would do like a quarter of a mile, and I'd be like, I'm a runner now. and then it would just like,
It's just me.
Then it would,
No, I totally get that though.
Oh yeah. And so it started around then, and I started doing it more at night, because it would usually be my parents they were very social people too, so if they weren't arguing or something wasn't going on, they'd like to have a lot of friends over and they'd have parties. I'm not a super big party person. I'm still not to this day. I don't like to, I like parties, but not every night.
Sure.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so it would be something like that, or they'd have people over, they'd be drinking, and I would just be like, I don't want to be around this. So I would leave and go running. And so it's
like super late at night.
super late.
Whoa.
Like I start at like 11.
Oh.
And I remember at one point my dad, like I think I was 18 or 19, he forbid me from running at night. He was like, you're not running at night anymore. Like that's too dangerous. I don't want something bad to happen to you. And so I would sneak out and go running.
Dude.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was just really funny, because growing up, I would sneak out of the house when I was sick to go to school, because I didn't want to miss any school. And so then I would sneak out and go running, and there was just something about running at night when there was nobody around, and it was nice and warm because it was the summer. It just kind of felt like I was like floating.
Yeah, night running in the summer is actually kind of tight.
Yeah.
Even though there's a little sketch factor depending on where you're at.
I was too young to even like
that wasn't even
think about
thing
that.
to cross your mind. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and I just felt so proud of myself. The very first time I ran for 45 minutes straight, which is something my lacrosse coach said, like, you should all be able to do.
Yep.
The first time I did it, I was so excited. I texted him and I was like, oh my gosh, I finally did it. And he was like, good job.
It's like I don't really care at this point.
But Yeah, so I ran a season of cross country when I was in college, and then
Oh, wow.
yeah, and then I ended up not doing another season because we have fall ball for lacrosse and cross countries in the fall. But after that, I moved to Lansing, ran alone there, and then I moved to Grand Rapids, and then for many years, I think I've lived here for about 7. I moved here the year I started dating Ryan.
Okay.
For many years, I just ran alone. And
Really?
I remember when some run groups were created because I used to go to November Project.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I used to go to that a lot. So I remember when the running groups were created, and every morning or whenever I saw an event pop up, I'd think I should go to that.
Yeah.
But I just wasn't ready yet.
Yeah.
I think sometimes it was just the social factor that made me a little
Right.
nervous. And I'm sure you know, like if Ryan doesn't come with me, I go to most running events alone. Which
Yeah.
is, sometimes you have to really excite yourself to do that.
Oh, yeah.
It's hard to go alone. But yeah, I started running socially more, I think, in January because
This year, okay.
yeah, there was a point where I had COVID and it was cold outside, and I realized one day I literally have not walked outside in 2 weeks.
I remember you saying
Yeah.
that, which is crazy.
Yeah.
And so I thought, that's probably not good.
Depression.
That's, I might be a little depressed.
Yeah.
So then I decided to do some social running, and I've been trying to do that since then because I think it really helps me, because all of my really close friends that I talk to every day, they live in different states. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, all of my friends in the past few years, my best friend lived in Grand Rapids and she moved to New York, so I don't get to see her ever. So yeah, I was just pretty lonely.
It is like scary because even it was always in my head. I'm like, it's just easier to run alone. I don't need to be
Yeah.
around people. I know what I'm doing. And I think it was the same thing for Mac, where you showed up to like Lion Street, and so did I. A run
Yeah,
club.
but I was not running alone.
Oh
I had never run.
no, I meant no. I mean like you showed up and like super nervous, didn't want to talk to anybody. Like
I mean, not really.
Yeah.
What drew me, I did not run. I will just like repeat that a million times. I did not run
yeah,
at all. I mean,
You're such a good runner,
no,
Mac.
I did not run.
When you told me you've only been running for what, a year and a half?
yeah.
I think
I
it's
was
going on
shocked.
2 years. Yeah, I went from obviously cheerleading, and I did that till like 2000 and, I graduated college in 2017, and I still cheered after like recreational. Like I just went and like stunted and did gymnastics.
Yeah.
But I was dating an ex-college cross-country runner who was like an all-American. I don't know. He went to nationals, did all the good things, was really fast. And he would be like, let's go for a run. And I wouldn't do it. No. And he'd be like, we can go on a trail. And I was like, you think I want to go on a trail and run? I don't want to go on the street. I don't want to go on a treadmill. I don't want to go on a trail. I'm not doing it. And then like, obviously, because I really liked him, I was like, I'll do one 5K. So I woke up really early and I did one riverbank 5K. And
No
like
training?
No training. At like a 10-minute pace.
Yeah.
And I was like, at the end, I got so like cold while I was running that I thought I was dying.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know why people do this. And he had a sign that said, don't poop your pants. And I was afraid the whole time I was going to actually poop my pants because he told me people
That's
did
a real
this.
fear, though.
Yeah.
I always say you're never too old or too young to
Poop your pants.
Yeah.
It
So
can
I
happen
was like,
to anyone.
it really can. So then after that, I didn't run again until 2021-ish time when I was like doing like HIIT workouts. So I do a lap around the block or like 10 seconds on the treadmill and then go do something, like something like that. And then someone that I knew was like doing lifting with the same person that I was like friends with. So I was like, and then they posted about some trail running group, and I was like, you know what? I could use some friends. Like it really wasn't even like the running thing. I was like, I really could use some friends. And
Trail sisters, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But there was this aspect there. It was like, we're only going to do is a no drop. And I asked my significant other at the time, I was like, what does no drop mean? And they're like, oh, they won't leave you behind. Like even if they have to walk, they'll stop and wait for you. And I was like, okay, this is good.
Yeah.
So I showed up and I started talking to like some random person there who I ended up being really good friends with. And she had just run Chicago Marathon. And she's like, it took me, I don't know, let's say like 5 or 6 hours. She's like, I was taking shots. I was, talking to everyone. I was like, that sounds fun. Like this is a party. This is like a fun time to hang out with friends. Like this isn't like, you're not really running.
Yeah.
So I signed up for Bayshore. And because I was
Half
like,
or the full?
the full.
Bold.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh, everybody's doing this fun thing. Like, this is a thing I need to do.
Yeah.
And then that girl, along with the person who was training with the same guy that I was training with for lifting, were posting about this Lion Street, some other run club that's in town. And I was like, I'm going to do that now. And then I just came every time for a bunch of Tuesdays, talked to no one except for like, they would kind of make it like, you should find a buddy. And there was this girl who I could tell she was like, also kind of awkward. We both run together, and I would wear headphones.
Oh yeah,
because I was like,
that's a move, showing up to a run club with headphones.
it is.
well, I didn't know
It's a
because
statement.
I'm just here to exercise.
well, I know because the girl next to me would be like talking to me, be like, what? And then I'd answer, and then I put it back in
That's
because I didn't know.
fucked up.
I didn't know what people did at these run clubs.
Oh,
I thought we all just ran
You don't
together.
know the etiquette or anything.
Yeah, I had no idea. So I would keep showing up and keep showing up. And then soon I was like, maybe I should stay and get coffee because people were doing that. So then I'd sit with my coffee alone.
Yeah.
And then first I started just getting the coffee and I'd like smile at everyone and then I'd leave with my coffee.
Yeah.
And then it started being like, okay, I'm going to sit down with my coffee. And then one day there was like a clear group of people who like knew each other and who came because it was really small at the time. It wasn't big. And I was like, I'm just going to sit with them. I'm going to sit there and they all had books. And I was like, I'm going to talk about these books. So I sat down and I was like, what are you guys reading? And then I was like, oh, I'm in.
Yeah.
Yeah. How did you weasel your way into this?
I don't even know.
How did you get in our house?
I don't know.
Okay.
How did you get
Always
in our
been
house?
here.
Well, I remember one time, maybe me and Mac first started seeing each other, and you had posted that you were going to do a run downtown, meeting at Abby's, our friend Abby's.
Oh, yeah.
place.
I like screwed you over.
And
You did?
Yeah,
I did. And I felt
Matt,
so
She
bad.
might have-
bitch.
She might have
I
been,
was.
she might have been out. Like, were you drinking
It
the night
was
before?
you.
No, I wasn't
You didn't know
drinking. I wasn't drinking. I had my alarm and everyone off, so I just never woke up.
Were you?
And
Okay.
there was like multiple people who were meeting me there,
Yeah.
and I was the only one who didn't show up, but none of you guys knew each other.
Yeah.
So
Well,
you all showed up.
Okay, tell your side, Brittany.
Yeah, I
Were
need
you
to know how that
well,
went.
first, I'm trying to remember if I met you during this time. Were you there on St. Patrick's Day like 2 or 3 years ago when we ran around Reed's Lake and there was a big parade going on?
No.
No.
Yes,
What?
I was. Yes,
You were there, and they
I
were
was
really
there.
fast, and
we
I
were
didn't know
and we
anybody.
were trying to like. I wanted to run through the finish line. And they're like, "Don't do that."
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was the day before my birthday's the day after St. Patrick's
Yeah,
Day.
and it was really hard to keep up with them because it was like
they were really. I thought you were really.
I
everyone
wasn't
was
really
fast.
friends with them at the time.
Okay.
I was like,
It seemed like I had
No.
never met any of these people.
There was a few I hadn't met at the time. But
Yeah.
I was kind of friends with a few of them, but there was a couple that they were friends with that I
Yeah.
didn't really know. And
Yeah.
I was kind of worried because I felt like they were going too fast too.
Yeah.
And so I was like,
Yeah.
I was nervous the whole time. And I was like, I felt like I had to keep
nervous.
up. Yeah.
I can run fast. I have ran fast in my life. Like there was a point when I was running not as fast as Paul just did during the turkey trot.
Thank you.
That's a turkey. Ryan said that's a turkey sprint. There's no trotting involved
was
that
no
day.
How
trotting.
did the cat escape?
You were really fast too. You had a really good time.
She killed it.
Thanks.
Good job. But yeah, I can run fast, but I don't always prefer to.
Yeah,
so
that's all right.
I kind of they started off at that pace, and I was like, all right, this is what we're doing.
Yeah, I
and
felt the same way. So
I talk when I run too, but when I was talking, I was just getting out of breath. So I was just trying to keep up the conversation. And it
Yeah.
was so hard because I was like, don't let them see how tired you are. It's like
I
when
was-
you go up the stairs,
No.
you try not to act winded.
it is so funny because I was feeling that same way because
Yeah.
the girl in the front, I
Yeah.
had never met her before, but
Okay.
everyone knew her. It was
Morgan?
the
Yeah,
slight
she's
spit.
so
Yeah, she's
nice.
so nice,
She's
and
so
I would
sweet, yeah.
like now it's funny knowing her, but at the time I was like, she's so fast. They all knew each other, and I was
Yeah.
like, I need to make sure like I'm kind of in the front with them, and I
Yeah.
was dying.
Well, okay, back to the day you stood, Brittany.
Well, no,
Okay,
it starts
I'm
in
leading
St.
up to
Patrick's,
that.
yeah.
So we did that, and then a few months later, you posted something about meeting. I don't know if it was in front of her house, but yeah,
it was at that park. What's that park
Yeah, it
called?
was. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Children's
It's like-
Library.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Library.
You
Children's
said
Museum.
meet at 6, and I was like,
Yeah.
okay,
6 a.m., yeah.
I'm there. It's still dark out.
Yeah,
nobody's
because
there.
I had always done 6 a.m. runs at that time, and I always would post them to Lion Street and be like, "We're like."
And this
who
was like a
wants to run me?
Saturday. I think it was a Saturday or Friday.
That
or
was-
something.
No, it had to have
Yeah.
been like a Friday.
After that, I didn't do social running for like
man.
months.
Oh my gosh, I'm
it
so
wasn't your
sorry.
fault. It was. I was just like, okay, well, I'm a loser.
There's a funny
You're
story
not.
about that because Mac posted that, and said, we're meeting at like in front of Abby's place, our friend Abby's place at the park. And one of our other friends showed up. Abby wasn't running with us. That day.
It was like me, you, another guy, and another girl.
Yeah.
And I was like pumped for it, but I like just...
She couldn't get out of bed. I'm pretty sure I was with you. Maybe.
No.
But the funny part is one of the guys that went showed up to the girl's apartment.
Oh my
God.
God.
And
tried to get into her apartment at 6 a.m. and she didn't know what was going on.
Oh my God.
And no, I don't remember if anyone contacted me or anything.
I did.
Okay, you did.
That was me.
Yeah, because I was like...
Should grab our phones, pull up Facebook
yeah,
Messenger.
probably way back
and
there.
me just be like, hey, are you here?
No, I don't... We were friends at the time, but we were not like dating or
weren't.
anything because I remember that I lived way out. It was like a 30-minute drive for me to get up. So I had missed my alarm and I knew that even if I drove there, it was 30 minutes to get downtown.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, I missed it. And I remember I told you and our other friend, Sammy, and I was like, guys...
You stood up.
I stood up everyone on this run.
Well, I checked I think I looked at Instagram and it looked like you were at like a bachelorette party or something. And I was like, oh yeah, she's not
I
going.
think you were
The
partying the
bachelorette
night
party.
before. I'm pretty sure
I think you were at like, but I think it was like an event.
We'd have to look at after this, we'll have to look at the
I do
dates.
want to know what
We should
happened.
go through those
Because I remember
messages.
and I was like, I feel so bad. And then I feel like there was a really long gap between then and then we talked again. And I never correlated it with being who you were because...
I actually didn't either until
you know
now.
what I mean? Yeah, and it was me. It was me.
So good.
And I was like,
How dare
shoot.
you.
And I know. And I'm like such a big proponent. I still like at this point, I always want to run with someone because I'm always like, hey, who's doing this at this time?
Yeah.
And I'm like, it still haunts me to this day because I'm even with Paul, I'm like, we have to be there on time. It's just, it's like in my head now because I overslept and missed it. And that's,
Oh my gosh.
I was like,
I oversleep constantly now.
Really?
Once again, shout out Lexapro. But
Does it mess with your
does.
sleep?
I sleep.
Yeah.
I slept like 11 hours last night.
Oh, I've never. How?
During the time change
That's
a few weeks
impressive.
ago,
Oh.
13 hours.
Jeez.
I remember you
13.
told me that.
That wasn't. I mean, I had
Yeah.
I had a crazy dream last night.
You know that your vivid dreams are from Lexapro?
I had vivid dreams
Oh,
before Lexapro.
Oh, but usually
Yeah.
they cause vivid dreams.
Yeah, before
it's a huge
Lexapro.
thing.
I think I told Paul this at the Friendsgiving. I had a vivid dream once before I even knew you too well, before you even like soft launched Paul on social media.
Oh.
I had a dream, and it's funny because it's before I knew you were together. I had a dream that I went on vacation with you. Don't know why, but I was with Ryan. I was with you, and we were on vacation. But you didn't talk to me the whole time because you wanted to be with Paul, and you were like, "Yeah,
that's
I'm
so
with
weird.
Paul."
She's
And I
obsessed.
was like, "Okay, well, I don't know anybody here." And you were like, "I don't know, figure it out." And I
Oh
was
my
like,
gosh.
That's the PTSD from her standing you up.
It probably,
Probably.
is. Like,
It is.
No.
Yeah.
Which is so funny. No, I have like pretty vivid dreams constantly, and a lot of them are like apocalyptic, which is so interesting.
I wonder if you're like The Simpsons and you can predict the future.
Maybe.
Because
I
that
hope
scares
not.
me.
I had a dream like months ago and I think this was pre-Lexapro, that I was sitting on the couch in our living room and it was daytime. And I said, Ryan, come here. And we were looking out the window up at the sky and we were watching the sun explode in the sky. And then the next day I was telling my coworkers, so we looked up the sun exploding in the sky. It was like my dream.
Dude.
And it was so creepy.
That's scary.
Meaning
That's
you
scary.
Googled it like that didn't happen yesterday. Is that what you're saying?
No, she Googled it and
Googled
then the
after the
same
dream.
like...
After I had the dream, we Googled to see what it would look like.
Oh.
And I was like, that's exactly what it looked like in my
That's so
dream.
That's so
creepy.
scary.
Yeah,
So you have pre-Lexapro and post-Lexapro life, basically, is what you're saying.
basically.
No, not really. She said that she still gets
Yeah,
vivid dreams.
I've always had vivid dreams.
Yeah. No, I just meant she said this was pre-Lexapro.
Yeah.
That meaning
yeah.
like she refers to her life before.
Oh,
Yeah.
because there's a significance difference.
I think
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
they're longer now. Like I had a really, really long dream last night, but they're probably about the same, like just
Yeah.
as vivid,
That's
which is crazy.
Mine, when I first started Lexapro, I started on a lower dose and then I
Yeah.
got to the max dose
Yeah.
of Lexapro. And when I hit the max dose, I started having issues with like, I couldn't tell what was reality and what was not. When I
crazy,
wake
right?
up, I'd be like,
Yeah.
did I do this or did I say
Yeah.
this to someone? Because they were so, it wasn't like out
So
of this
vivid.
realm, right?
Yeah.
Like it was really normal thing. What are you
Yeah.
looking at the cats?
Yeah, because one of the cats is trying to hit the other one while it's eating.
Yeah, that adds up.
That's another
but
cat.
but I would literally, I would have issues where I'd be like, hey, did I say this to you or did like
I've
I
done
do
that,
this?
yeah.
And it was just because like my dreams were so close
vivid.
to reality and
Yeah.
so vivid. But then I went back down this like past probably like 6 months, it went back
Yeah.
down to like a lower dose, and I don't get that anymore.
Yeah, I don't think, even if the doctor recommended it, I don't think I would go up in a dose because I just don't want to like completely lose feeling in my genitals, preferably.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
What?
I did lose a lot of sex drive.
a lot of
Yeah.
Oh, you
Yeah.
lose sex drive?
Yeah.
yeah,
It's still like
it's not necessarily my sex drive. It's more like the sensations aren't as strong.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Interesting.
interesting.
Which is interesting.
Like
I've told
it's-
my doctor about it, and she's like, "Well, as long as it's still kind of there," and I'm like, "All right."
Jeez.
Yeah, they don't care. You know what? That is really weird, actually.
You can be really happy and have no orgasms.
No, but that is really
That's
interesting.
not happiness.
That is literally. I've been on Lexapro for 5 years.
Yeah.
And like now that you say that,
Mm-hmm.
like being eaten out has been like significantly different between like pre Lexapro and like
Yeah.
now, like the last
Yeah.
5 years.
So you're saying it's like your orgasms aren't different, but it is less sensitive just in general? for
like a
both
little
of
bit
you?
of both. I would say
Yeah.
a little bit of both. Like it's
Yeah.
almost harder to get an orgasm.
Yeah.
And then once I have it, it's like some of them are like, oh, okay, I'm gonna go on with the rest of my day now.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Sometimes it's like, "Oh, finally."
Yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Had to work for that one.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. See, I honestly, I didn't really know what you were on. I'm talking to Mac.
What you were on.
No, I did. We go to bed. I just hear pills shaking, and
Are
she
you
just,
on anything? You just
No.
raw dog in life.
Yeah,
No.
raw dog in life.
Which is weird because he has so much trauma.
Oh my god.
He does. You do. You're
yeah, the
traumatic.
little bit I've heard, man.
Yeah.
Dude,
That's
you're
rough.
traumatized.
I guess
You're really coping out here, aren't
I just
you?
didn't. I never like.
He like
Huh?
I
Oh,
feel
go
like
ahead.
well, I feel like you until I've heard you a few times be like, I'm anxious, I'm really anxious. But like other than that, it's not like you have like you don't wake up every day and like live your life being like generally
No.
like anxious. Because like I live every day and I wake up, I'm like, oh, I'm anxious now. Oh, I get a little bit more. Oh, I lowered
No.
back down to my
Yeah.
normal anxious state.
Yeah.
No.
Like
Never.
it's a very even anxious level. Sometimes it goes up, and that's why I had Lexapro to bring me back to
Yeah.
a normal anxious level.
I kind of, my brain will keep me busy. Like I'll be like, oh, I gotta go sweep, or I gotta
Yeah, you
go
are really
take
annoying
something
like
to the
that.
basement,
Yeah.
or I just keep my mind.
That's
busy, I guess.
unhealthy.
It probably
took me,
is.
It took me a long time to actually get on Lexapro because I felt like, I mean, I do so much for my mental and physical health in general. I mean, like I exercise, I eat well, I try to get enough sleep, and
Yeah.
I was just like, I'm doing everything I can, like all the things that people say you should do to help manage anxiety and depression, and it's not working. And I felt like by taking medication, I was failing in some way. But I just think, I mean, I don't have the same perspective now,
Yeah.
but it
Yeah.
just took me a long time.
I was a psycho off of it, like
Really?
a legit psychopath. Like,
Really?
oh yeah, like legit psychopath.
I can see that.
Like they thought I had like bipolar disorder,
Oh no.
and so they gave me bipolar disorder meds.
Oh god.
And it was the worst thing I've ever taken in my life. Like it made me so sick. It like gave me these weird symptoms, and the still psychopathic stuff didn't go away. And they're like,
Yeah.
oh, maybe it's not that.
She used to take trazodone for sleeping, which is basically like horse tranquilizers.
He thinks it's
Wow.
that, but it's not. Yeah, because for some reason like the Lexapro, it would take me a long time to get to bed when I started taking that.
Yeah, I'm out.
Yeah, see,
Yeah.
it would like I'd be up, which sometimes it's like it depends on which
Yeah.
one it is.
But you take yours right before bedtime.
I do
right?
too.
Yeah.
Oh, is
Yeah.
that what you're supposed to do?
Yeah.
Well, they
Okay.
they tell you
to.
to, but if it doesn't, like sometimes they'll say switch it if you have issues.
Okay.
Which instead they were just like take another pill.
Yeah.
And another one.
So that is interesting though with the sex drive, like. that's-
Well, birth control does that too to women.
Oh.
It
I
can
noticed
affect
that.
their libido.
I noticed that actually I have an IUD, and I noticed after I got it, my sex drive decreased like quite a bit.
It's a lot, yeah.
It was really interesting, and now it's I think I'm just used to it. But yeah, for a while I was like, oh, this sucks. Because I don't know. Yeah, I think it definitely changed some things.
Do you think when he gets his little snip,
Yeah.
you're gonna get the IUD out?
I've thought about it, but since it's not 100% effective, I'm not really sure. We still have to have like the conversation around it, but I would have to get
Yeah.
another one in, and I don't know if you know about the procedure.
I don't.
I've never had it, but I hear
Terrible.
horrible.
I've heard it's kind of easy.
What?
What?
I was gonna say, who the hell have you talked to? Tori has to bring Ryan
Yeah, I've heard.
and like hold his hand.
Yeah, I went in. I did it.
I heard out is worse than
it
in.
goes in your arm.
No, that's
Oh my god, Paul.
that one
Isn't
does
there
go-
one that goes in your arm?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So I thought I knew.
You shouldn't
things.
get that one. That one has a lot of defects. I've heard,
Yeah.
or like
Really?
issues.
This one they have to they basically cause contractions because they put clamps. Do you know what a cervix is?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
I wouldn't trust that he knows what that is. I really wouldn't.
I do.
Do you know what happens during a pap smear?
Yeah, you put your feet on the clamp, on the stool things.
Yeah.
And then
you get the fluorescent lights down in your vulva, and they they crank you open. Well, yeah, during the IUD placement, they really just crank you open. Oh. You know, like you're wide open there. And then they put these little special clamps around your cervix, and that pinches, and then they expand your cervix. And the cervix expands.
The cervix is not on the outside of your vagina.
Okay.
Yeah, so they cause contractions, basically. And, because your cervix expands when you have a baby. And your cervix also kind of expands when you menstruate, too. That's why you have cramps, because it's your cervix expanding. But, yeah, so they cause contractions by expanding your cervix with these little clamps on the outside, and then they put a little tube up there and then just release the device. And they tell you before they do it, just so you know, like it could perforate your uterus.
Like if women have died from these, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of times I've known multiple women who end up getting PCOS or it implants into the side of their
or it
uterus.
shifts, or I've had a friend who it fell out of her completely, which can happen. You can sometimes feel the strings during like intercourse, like if you're having sex with someone with a penis, they can feel the strings because they're like little wires that hang down.
So dumb question: why would you do IUD as opposed to like the pill?
Because you don't have to remember to take it every day. And it's more effective than the birth control pill.
It is.
And you can alter the types of hormones you're getting. So like they don't have to
copper,
be
which is non-hormonal, or you can get and it just when I got it originally, it was supposed to go in for 5 years, but now it's extended to 8 years.
Oh
geez.
So some of them you can have them in for like 10 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
No.
But they don't like just casually check on them. So like you go back in 10 years and they're like, oh, whoops.
Yeah. I mean, you can't, you're supposed to technically check the strings to make sure they're in place. That's a reach. It's a reach. You got to make sure your nails are clipped short, and you got to get up in there, really do some poking around.
Just have your significant other check, I guess.
I don't know.
It's surgical.
Oh.
It's not like a, hey, come tickle it.
Yeah. I need your fingers, babe.
Yeah.
I'm going to finger blast for this.
Oh my gosh.
String up in the cervix.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I don't know exactly where the cervix is.
I knew you didn't.
I knew it. That's why I asked you if you knew what a cervix was.
When you go up in there, you don't know what a cervix is.
Are
you searching for it?
Do you know what a labia is?
That's the outside part, I think.
Paul.
Yeah.
Do you know what a vulva is?
Oh, that's the entire thing?
Yeah, that's the outside of your vagina.
Right.
Well, people call it your
inside,
vagina, but it's
Right.
It's technically your vulva, but people don't like saying vulva.
Yes.
They're more comfortable with saying vagina. Or cooter.
Ed with Paul.
Yes, we're gonna do a sex ed
sex ed with Paul.
Yeah, just me though.
Just you.
Yeah, just
learning
me,
about all of these.
all the facts I know.
No. This is people teaching you the facts you need to know.
Yeah.
According
to Paul, he knows a lot about
people love
the vagina, right?
Yeah. Paul claims that he has given many a woman orgasms from just.
What was your clearance rate? Like 70%?
Yeah, he thinks 70%.
70%. It works 100% of the time.
Oh
yeah,
man.
he thinks that 76% of the women that he has stuck his,
You're making it seem like there's been 100 women now.
Has there?
No.
There's been there's been more than 20.
Paul.
Can't confirm or deny.
Because there's been more than 20.
But he is old.
I know.
There's no way of knowing.
He's been on this earth for a while.
But let's just make it an even number. Let's say there's just 20 of them. Okay. And you're saying that 75% of them. So you think 15 women out of the 20 that you've had sex with have just had a natural orgasm with only your penis.
I'll text them and ask them.
I think I saw this.
Send out a survey monkey.
I want to. I'll send a survey monkey to all of them. Please give me their contact numbers.
What's a survey monkey? Is that what you said?
No. Paul.
What is that?
Oh man.
You don't know what survey monkey is?
You've totally done one.
Everyone's done one.
Yeah.
It's like you get an email to
an
take
anonymous
this survey.
Oh.
Yeah.
Maybe I have. I don't know.
Yeah. But we're just here to say that you're wrong and they were lying to you.
Statistically, Paul, over 80% of women over 80% of people with vaginas cannot orgasm without some sort of external stimulation.
Yeah.
So unless you're You're really good with your fingers.
It's magic.
Oh.
It's not. I can confirm it's not. I am here to set that
Shots
record.
fired.
Great.
Paul. Yeah, I don't think I had like good sex until I met my husband, which is
really?
really sad. Yeah,
Yeah, but now I feel like you are having great sex.
I am. Even on Lexapro and the
That's good.
IUD. It's pretty great.
Go
yeah.
Ryan,
With all those-
honestly.
Yeah, he's very. Yeah, what I love about Ryan is the first time we ever had sex. I love telling this story. You want to hear it? Okay.
Yeah.
So
You
the
guys
first
are
time.
children too.
Well,
Babies. Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
she
so-
was 23.
But you know what
I
I
was
mean.
23. He was 21.
Yeah.
The first time we had sex, we talked about it beforehand. He said, "Do you want to have?" I said, "I want to have sex tonight," and then he confirmed, "Do you really want to have sex tonight?" And I'm like,
That's great.
Sure,
Consent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would love to
This.
have sex.
No, consent.
And
we
so
love consent. It's
we're getting
sexy.
ready. Yeah, we're getting ready to have sex, and before he puts it in, he goes, "Are you sure?" And I'm like, "Bitch, if you."
If you ask me one more time.
Sure.
And so, yeah, we had sex. And then after, he had like a jacuzzi tub in his bathroom. He drew me a bath,
Oh wow.
put a bath bomb in there, and then said, "I'll be right back." Went and got me vegan ice cream. And then he fed me ice cream in the tub.
Wow, you must have rocked his world.
And but I was like, because he planned all of this.
Yeah,
And I
he had to
go,
have bought a bath bomb.
Yeah, and he lit candles too. And actually, before I came over his house, I told him about how I always like loved going over my parents' house because before I went over, my mom would always clean the house and she would light candles, so it was like cozy. So he cleaned his whole house and lit a ton of candles, so it was nice and cozy. And I asked him after it all, "What if I didn't want to have sex? And what if I didn't want you in the bath
Yeah.
with me?" And he goes, "Then I would have given you the ice cream and shut the door." And for years before we'd have sex, he would still say, "Are you sure?"
Really?
Really?
Just the sweetest person.
He seems like a nice
Yeah.
person.
Most 21-year-old boys aren't
Most
doing that.
34-year-olds don't even
Oh,
do that.
come on.
No, he is just like the kindest person
Yeah.
I know.
We don't
That
have
is
a
so
bath, so I can't. Oh, do we have? Does the upstairs do a bath? I don't even know.
Yes. Yes, it
No,
does.
remember, because we can't figure out how to make the water go out of the spout, so I can't give you a bath. Sorry, Mac.
No ice cream
get
for you,
nothing.
Matt.
No ice cream in the bath. I'll give it to you in the shower.
He does. Ryan does rub my feet every single night, though, which is
Really?
very sweet. Yeah.
I rub hers quite a bit. I
Yeah.
get none back, but
Sometimes I'll rub Ryan's
That's
feet.
because Paul's is like surgical. It's like, we're doing this so you can be a better runner. It's not like nice and like
No.
sentimental. It is.
like-
I'll do your
cracking
calves
toes
and then I'll work down to your feet.
Yeah, he starts at the calves and it's like a doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like nice.
gosh.
with
Getting
this-
those knots out.
Yeah.
Well, Ryan has really, really alarmingly long toes.
Oh, really?
And so, I mean, looking at them, he doesn't have weird looking feet at all, but his toes are so long. They're
Okay,
like,
what is
What size
alarmingly
shoe is
long?
he?
like, they're the, I mean, he's like a 9.5.
Oh, okay.
But
So
I
he
would
has like normal sized feet
normal
in
shoe.
general.
Yeah. His toe is as long as my index finger. I've
That's
held it up
long.
next to it. He has long, skinny toes, and he wants me to crack his toes. And
I'm scared. I'm so
I
scared.
don't like doing it, and I'm like, I have to brace myself and use two hands, and it feels like I'm dislocating his toes.
It's like a Chinese finger trap.
You think
It's
he'll
ho-
show me his feet?
Oh, yeah, he'll show you his feet.
I want to see him now.
I'll show you.
Tell him to send me a foot pic.
Foot pic.
No,
Yeah.
don't let him give those out for free with that long of toes.
I'll Venmo
That's
him.
true. Yeah, they are pretty long and gnarly, but
That's crazy.
so
Oh my
he'll
God.
say, "I rub your feet every night," and I'm like,
And then he wants you to crack his toes. See, they always want
Yeah.
something.
That's a crazy request. I just
It
want
is.
just rub my foot,
I know.
No, that's not true.
She does. She gets bored really fast. She's like, ugh. Right?
Well, yeah, I want to do other things.
Yeah,
There's other things to be done.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No,
And
I
I-
get it.
and you
It-
don't
I
run as
kinda-
much as Mac, do you?
Yeah.
You do?
More.
More?
No.
I don't know. You do a lot of things.
He does weird things.
You rollerblade and
I do rollerblade.
Yeah.
Not really
He does
like.
a lot of yoga.
Yeah, I
Oh,
did
yeah.
yoga today.
I think
I
it
do a lot of yoga,
started.
too.
It started in my childhood. I used to do the back scratching game. You heard of that? You know, like you draw something on their back.
Oh,
and
I
then-
love that.
Yeah, the
You
person
try and
has to
guess
guess
what it is, yeah.
And I used to always con my cousin, because I would say, "Well, you have to do me first," and then
Yeah.
I pretend to fall asleep, and I'd take a really long. I would know what it was immediately, and
Oh
I'd be
my
like, "No,
gosh.
do it again." I just don't know, and then I would just pretend to fall asleep
Oh
after.
my gosh.
So I never ever got to her in like all of our 28 years of doing
That's
it.
so
She's
funny.
29 now, so.
oh my god.
Wow. Yeah, I have my friends who I do like girls trips with. Like every once in a while, we'll get in a line where we'll like rub each other's backs because
Oh.
It sucks to be the back person.
I know.
Unless you make a
I
circle.
know. Well, it's always the person who's in the back is the person who's ticklish and like doesn't want their back rubbed.
Mac
Oh.
and her friends used to play a similar game. with the,
That's different.
but they weren't scratching each other's backs.
We would like tickle each other.
Yeah.
Oh, I just
See?
like that. Sometimes I'll tell Ryan to tickle my arm. I'll just put my
Yeah,
arm out,
I would
be
do.
like,
I would
"Tickle
just
my
do it
arm."
with my legs. Like
Yeah.
I'd hand her my leg and she'd hand me hers, and it'd be
Yeah.
like we were scissoring.
Yeah.
No,
We wouldn't rub clits or anything. We wouldn't.
That'd be fine if you did.
Yeah.
But
We didn't. And
Yeah.
then and like
they did some crazy
what,
shit.
what would happen is like my friend Liz would tickle my leg, and then I'd tickle her leg, and we'd switch legs. and
Yeah.
we'd call it tickling.
Yeah.
Be like, oh, tickle time.
Girls
well,
did.
my friends, I mean, when we get together, we talk about how like our significant others, when they rub our backs, like Ryan is great at rubbing backs, but sometimes he'll be distracted and he'll literally just rub my back with his hand.
Yeah,
like
and
that.
it's like
Yeah.
bro,
and
tickle.
he doesn't get in the knots. So my friends and I, we all are like, oh my gosh, yeah, we should rub each other's backs because we know how to give back rubs. So then
Sounds
it'll
like-
just be like a whole session of us getting back rubs from each other. It's ridiculous.
Consensual, non-sexual back rubs.
Oh, it's so
Yeah,
fun.
I
I mean,
think
I've
that's
known them
fine.
all since I was like 5 years old. So
wild.
they're like sisters to me.
Guys are
See?
so much different. We didn't have tickle parties.
Well,
Guys
that's
are
kind of
so
your
strange.
loss.
I know.
It's so strange because like Ryan will go hang out with his friends and he'll come back and I'll be like, oh, how's this or that? How's
They
their new
don't
job?
know.
Yeah, and he's like, I don't know. And I'm like, what do you talk about for
Yes.
6 hours?
We don't talk.
Same. I'm
What do
like,
you
did
talk
you not
about?
get the tea? Why
Yeah.
are you not getting the tea?
Yeah, what do you
I don't
talk
want
about
the
with your
tea.
friends?
Bring something home. And I'm always like, in my head, I'm thinking it would be so cute if he came home and he was like, the guys we were talking about how much I love you.
Yeah.
And they
Ryan
they
has
told
said
us
that.
really, and they were, and like, I've always thought when Paul goes to his best friend's house, they'd be like, oh, Paul, like, you should really like, you know, keep Mac. She's such a keeper. And I've never seen you look happier. He comes home and I'm like, so what do you guys do? Watch TV. We watched the game and then we did this thing where we put wax on our snowboards. And that's it.
Is that really what you do?
That is true of one.
Yeah.
night.
What do you talk about with friends though?
Wait, no, they
nothing.
like you though. They do like you. You know,
That's not as nice of a story.
that is, they have
Or the-
relayed that to me.
The other thing I notice with men is that, and you'll start noticing, I told Caro some things I've noticed about men.
Yeah.
And now she notices it all the time.
Okay.
They won't tell you when they have to use the bathroom. Like if you're at a table with a bunch of women and
They'll
men,
just get
the
up.
women will be like, I'll be right back. Or like,
Yeah.
excuse me. Or like, I have to use the restroom. A man will just get up and flee. And then all of a sudden you're like, hey, where'd so-and-so go? Oh,
Yeah.
probably to the bathroom. And they come back, they're like nothing happened.
Yeah.
It's like, you didn't announce yourself.
Probably a safety thing with women. Like, hey, in
Maybe.
case they don't come back.
Oh,
Yeah.
use the bathroom.
Or like, you know, don't leave without me.
Yeah.
Men are just like, I'm going. And
Yeah.
I'll be back when I got back.
Yeah, we just.
Yeah, you just go. You just flee.
Yeah, I like, it's my private time, you know.
It's just so weird.
Sorry.
I just don't
I'll start
understand that.
announcing it. How we doing on time? We're past an hour, right?
Hour
Ooh.
19.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Gosh, time
Longest
flies.
one
Good
we've
one.
done.
Time flies when you're having fun.
It
Yeah.
does.
Well, I guess we should sign off so we can get to Coney Island.
Yeah,
Oh my
Brittany,
gosh.
were you going to get a hot dog tonight?
Is that? It's
Yeah.
not just hot dogs.
What
You
would
know
it-
that, right?
They have like
I'm gonna get
fries.
breakfast food.
Oh, they have breakfast food.
Yeah.
Since I
Oh.
slept past breakfast today, I didn't
That's
get
true.
any.
It's like hash browns.
Because they're open until like 2 a.m. or something,
I
right?
think they're 24 hours,
24? Okay, nice.
which is pretty great.
Oh.
Yeah.
Brittany Hayes, we appreciate
Thank you.
your
Yeah, thanks for
time.
coming on.
Thank you.
And sharing.
Great.
Apologies to whoever watches us on YouTube. The camera, the SD cards were not cooperating.
Paul broke it.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to
Aw.
fix
we,
it tonight.
We will not have a reel for this one,
I
unfortunately.
didn't even tell my story that we were talking about on Wednesday. Where did I?
Oh, yeah. It had to do
I'll
with
just
a
have
very.
to tell you sometime, Mac.
You have to come back.
Yeah, come back because I want
It's
to
about a
know.
very
Ryan.
powerful person in Grand Rapids, a very powerful family.
Politician. Yeah.
No names.
Oh, I
no
kind of
pronouns.
heard about this.
Yeah.
Okay, well, be prepared because she's coming back and we're going to talk about it.
Yeah.
All right.
She worked for a very powerful family in Grand Rapids.
All right, not directly,
Not directly,
but
but they were paying you, right?
a little
Dun, dun,
cliffhanger.
dun, dun.
All right,
All
Brittany.
right, peace out.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Ah.